Mr. Williams, and a pleasant good evening to all. My presentation is going to be rather brief, but rather just to say to you that you have heard the clarion call for personal responsibility for us here in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. You would have listened to the presentation and the appeal made by Dr. Cameron Wilkinson. You would have listened to the presentation made by Dr. Laws in terms of what would it take for us to be protected, and you would have listened to what the law enforcement through Superintendent Henry would have indicated to you in terms of compliance. I just want to say to you that we have reached that point where we now have to transition into the endemic of this pandemic. And the responsibility has to now shift to you. You have to now take that personal responsibility now to take us to where we need to go in terms of moving forward. What does this mean? This means, as Dr. Wilkinson said, you will have to make that choice that when mass events resumes, that you will, whether you will go or you will not go. Whether you will go and get vaccinated to protect your family and friends who live with you or who you associate with and socialize with, or you're going to be reckless and decide to take a chance and probably or maybe lose your life or have some long-term COVID effect that would affect you in the long run, or you're just going to remain in whatever state you desire. We have to transition. What does this mean by transitioning? Meaning that we are going to gradually ease the restrictions. It means that a number of the protocols that are in place may be removed, and this also means that the government in itself also will now look at that economic recovery in terms of taking the country back to that competitive economic activity. Now, I say this to say because of the numerous calls I have been getting about the comparison between sports, entertainment having a fit, and the persons comparing things to church, etc. I think we have done a reasonable job in ensuring that we protect you. That's the state doing everything possible to ensure that it applies and distributes its resources to where it needs to go in order to protect you. I think we have done a marvelous job in doing so. Now it's time to move on. You are seeing more cruise ships at our piers. You are seeing some normalities in terms of vendors and operators, stakeholders within the tourism industry functioning now. We're not getting those complaints. We're not hearing everything, no biasness. You're not hearing anything. What you are seeing, though, is the activity. Case in point, you see the many tours happening. That in itself should be an eye-opener to you that we are moving now and transitioning into that endemic stage. You will also see when we move gradually into that stage, as advised by our medical team, or experts, sorry, when the regulation themselves will have to be changed, meaning these particular briefings or risk communication initiatives, they will slowly start to lessen, meaning we may just move from weekly briefing to maybe monthly briefing to eventually no briefing at all. It also means that at some point in time, the task force in itself, it's not like it's going to be, disassembled or, broken apart, but at some point in time, we're going to have to transition from that task force committee into something different. So all that is going to happen eventually once we don't see any major outbreak. So I say all of that to say is that you're going to see some changes. For example, the sporting. We would have met with SCABA and its executive on Tuesday, and we were quite pleased by some of the information they shared. There was some information that we want from them to ensure that when they start the league, they don't encounter any challenges. Again, the football, the grassroots, the youth, that already has started. The female league, we are going to be working with the senior men's league so that league could also start. That in itself is an indicator for you that we are transitioning. We have also agreed that a number of the activities, because we have Valentine's coming up, We have the Super Bowl. I don't know if Dr. Wilkinson knows the difference between a first down, second down, third down, but I will teach him. We have the Super Bowl coming up. And you know, I'm a football fan. I played football in the United States. I was a cornerback and I was a wide receiver. And I am a fanatic, and I know the atmosphere that comes with that. And I want to appeal to all the bar owners and everybody else who are saying that they will not be able to make any type of, economic activity, they won't make no earnings, etc. Don't just say it. Test the system. Make an application. Make the case to the commissioner that you will create the environment under the regulations right now for you to be considered to provide these services under the circumstances that we are facing right now. I think we are at a reasonable stage. Without an application and a denial, you don't have a case. Word of mouth cannot stand. Because I'm certain Superintendent Henry has not told you no out of just saying it. If you have something to say, well, Superintendent Henry deny me, right? Then you have a case. But don't just say, but because the police ain't doing it, well, I'm not, or whoever the task force. Bring something solid to the floor. So again, make your applications. I think it's Superintendent 72 hours before the activity, and then you will have an argument once you make that application. So if you have not made an application, you have not done anything to get approval or a denial, then sorry, you don't have an argument. But we are shifting now from pandemic to endemic unless we see a major outbreak in the country. And I think we have seen the steady trend towards that downward trajectory towards recovery. So this is where we are heading right now. In terms of entertainment, again, I want to speak to that. We said to you in March. Saying to you in March does not mean that you cannot make an application for an activity, and I think Superintendent Henry has been making that point over and over. Apply, make your case, and then if you are denied or if you are approved, then you have your case, either or. An approval does not mean that you automatically can have 1,500 persons in an activity that was only granted 50. No. So when the team comes around and you have violated, of course, there will be consequences. So I just wanted to put that out there for the entertainment sector, the sporting sector, and the community at large. Unless you apply and you are denied, then you don't have an argument. You will have an argument if you apply and you are denied and you feel like you have been treated unjustly. So I wanted to make that clear today. I also want to speak to one last thing for me is the vaccination process. Let me encourage persons, please, go get boosted. If you're not vaccinated, go get vaccinated. You see all these members who are sitting here, you have Dr. Wilkinson, you have Dr. Laws, you have Superintendent Henry, you have Lesroy Williams, you have the Attorney General, you have Minister Phipps, you have the ZIZ crew, you have Miss Christmas Jacob, you have Ledger and James, and you have Ophelia Blanchard. We are tired. We have been fighting a long battle. And unless you do your part to help us get out of this, we may have to continue this fight longer. Yes, we have the fire to fight, but yes, we have the fire to do other things as well. Okay? So the task force does not want to remain in no power grip because we don't have no power. All we are doing is serving. The power is within the federal cabinet of ministers. Unless they say yeah or nay, we cannot move forward with any type of recommendation. I just want to make that categorically clear for a lot of individuals. So we need to move forward. Everybody needs to accept their personal responsibility. And that's my key word for today, personal responsibility. So apply for your events. You will see hotels having their events. We have to make sure that the tourism product remains relevant and competitive. Most of the hotels right now Some of them are full, others are not. Some of them are full. They have groups, etc. They will have their entertainment. You put forward your plan. You can have your entertainment. Put forward your plan. What we are saying, mass events, we are coming to you just now. And when these start to happen, personal responsibility. Simple. Now, in terms of travel, we would have seen that one of the major airlines, in that of American Airlines, would have canceled several flights from Miami, and that would have challenged a number of our citizens. There's a lab called Family Rehab, and it's located on the arrival floor between gates 10 and 12 at the Miami International Airport. If you need to retest because your test expired and you're not being allowed to board the aircraft, please go to this particular area. You can get a test done within a 2 to 3 hour period. Okay? Again, let me advise that you can go to the Family Rehab Lab. It's located between gates 10 and 12 at the arrival terminal at the Miami International Airport. Once you go there within sufficient time, then you can actually be assisted. It will cost you. I don't know the cost, but it will cost you like everything else. And we will do our best to continue to facilitate you at the help desk. If you make a call and the help desk don't answer you in the first call, continue to call, send emails so that you can get an answer. So with that said, I want to encourage all the travelers to exercise caution. You may face delays. You may also face challenges in terms of having outdated tests, and I just gave you a solution for you to deal with your test. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to have a happy Valentine's. For the Super Bowl, I got my team. I am back in the Buffalo Bills. Cameron, who are you going with? The winner, okay, right. So I'm hopeful that we have a wonderful weekend. Superintendent Henry, flood him with your request. And let's see, make your proper case. We have to transition. And that's the point. And it all boils down to personal responsibility. But the state has done its part and will continue to do its part. But it's time that we put more responsibility on you. We're going to lessen a lot of the restrictions, and we want to get things to a state of normalcy again in this new normal. So thank you again. Do your part. Help us. It's time for us to move on. Thank you, Mr. Williams.